Hi,
Well,
everyone.
hello, Lynn.
Hello,
Hi,
Carla.
everyone. Hey, it's the Lynn and Carla talk show again.
That's right. So welcome to Quilting Unscripted, where the chat is casual about all things quilty. So Carla and I are sort of fresh off travel, and we're gonna squeeze the show in before the next travel starts. Uh, and so hopefully you're joining us tonight. And we have a very, very special guest coming
We
up.
had a couple months ago, we had a shop owner from my neck of the woods that we interviewed. So we just thought it was sort of appropriate to have one of Lynn's favorite shop owners on. But after we're done with the interview, don't run away because we have a bit of pictures to show and a little chit chat of our cruise that just got finished. So Lynn and I just got off the cruise, what, 7, 8 days ago, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still on fuzz mode.
Yeah. And I just returned from teaching at AQS Paducah Quilt Week, which I got to tell you is a one of a kind quilt show festival. It is more of a festival than it is just a quilt show. There's lots going on, lots of action in the community. You know, all the shops in downtown Paducah have a window decorating contest where they decorate it with quilty things, and you vote for your best window. There's all kinds of things, and the National Quilt Museum is there as well. But we are not really going to talk a lot about that because I have only been home for 48 hours. So we are here.
Now, something I want to put out there before we bring Carla on is, if you are listening, throw us a little comment. Let us know you're out there. So I'm just not chatting with Lynn. So in the comments box, say hi, tell us where you're watching from. And that way we sort of feel a little bit better about what we're doing. So let's
yeah. So
Lynn,
we're gonna interview Carla Burno from the Quilters Corner at Middlebury Sew and Vac tonight in Middlebury, New Hampshire, where and we're going to take a look at behind the scenes. She's going to talk all about her journey in quilting and with her shop, and from the time she started into now, where the world is changing a little bit, what customers love, all that fun stuff about what we love about quilting. And truly, the quilt shops are the heart of our community. They're how we get our supplies. They're where we take our local classes, and they support our machines. There's all kinds of things that go on there. So it certainly is a central hub. So we want to welcome Carla, the owner of the Quilters Corner, Middlebury Sew and Vac.
Hi, Carla.
Hey, everybody. So, Lynn, I'm in Vermont, not New Hampshire.
Oh, my gosh.
You're still away, right?
I am still away. Oh, my gosh. That's awful. Yeah.
You have it right on the thing scrolling across the bottom, so we're good.
I did my homework.
Yes. I just read it wrong.
Okay. Well, Lynn, you're close to New Hampshire, so that's okay.
Yeah.
The land of mountains.
Yes.
Yeah. So, well, welcome, Carla, and thanks for being here with us. So let's dive right in to this wonderful world of ours. So tell us a little bit about how you became a shop owner. Let's just start right at the beginning.
Yeah, so it's a really kind of funny story, but when I went to college, on my college essay, you know, if you're applying for colleges, it said, you know, where do you see yourself in 10 years? And I actually wrote down owner of a fabric shop. And I went to Champlain College in Burlington, Vermont. I loved to sew. I loved, at a very young age, loved to go in and touch fabric. I was always in a fabric shop with my grandma if I could. My mom doesn't sew, but my grandmother, her mother did. So I was always watching grandma. So fast forward, college, marriage, you know, life, having kids. And I was working part-time in a variety of medical jobs, doing transcription and medical billing. And I was just you do what you have to do when your kids are little, right? To work around their schedules. And I just got really fed up with, actually, I was typing for a psych team at a counseling service. And I was just starting to get troubled by what I was typing because I worked for a child psychiatrist. And it just really bothered me. And I said, I can't do this anymore. So I came home and I opened up the newspaper and I looked at business opportunities and kind of fell in my lap. There was a little ad saying small sew and back business, blah, 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 a little blurb, call here. And so that was in April of 2006. And on June 15th of 2006, I closed on the shop. Now, when I purchased the shop, it was, for those of you who remember, about 800 square feet. My showroom was no more than 15 feet by maybe 20. A very old building. They had machines, sewing machines and vacuum cleaners and vacuum bags, and very limited accessories. And I knew right away I wanted to expand into fabric because that's more fun, right? And I had also done some research. I really researched pretty deeply about making a living on selling just fabric. And it's hard. It's really hard, right? And that was before the dawn of the internet shopping. So back then we were just competing with the big box stores. And now we have the internet. So I knew I needed machines. So the building right next door to the one I was renting was the state police barracks. And I knew that they were building a new state police barracks in the area, and that building would be empty. So in 6 months' time, we moved into a location triple the size of what I was. So we moved, and when I did that, I brought in fabric. We had a separate classroom. I knew from previous experience in shops that I really wanted a separate classroom. I didn't like taking a class in the middle of a quilt shop with people shopping and like wondering, touching your stuff. And I just wanted that separate space. So we were there for, 2007 to 2018. And in 2019, we moved again into a shopping center next to a grocery store and TJ Maxx. So people they all stop in before they go grocery shopping. So having a fun place, more traffic.
Or the man gets the grocery list and the women go shopping at the quilt shop.
Sometimes, yeah, we've always joked about there's an empty space next to us, and we said we need a coffee shop or a bar to open there so the men can go watch the sports while the women are shopping. So, yeah, so I just wanted to do something more fun. It's always been my passion, and I had experience working retail selling women's clothing, and I just like to interact with people, and that's what I wanted to do. So here I am, almost 20 years, completion of my 20 years.
Nice. So my first interaction with Carla was when I was on the board of directors at VQF, and her shop would sponsor classrooms, machines in the classrooms. And so I was running education at the time, and that's how we first met back in 2013. So it's been quite a while. So and that was always special, having the machine sponsored classrooms for you to come and take classes at a show like that, where you don't have to lug all the stuff, and there's a tech there that you break a needle or you can need another bobbin. They take care of everything for you. And it really is just another little bit of the weaving of how we build this community of ours.
Right.
Yeah.
I was telling Lynn that when I took my first class at Paducah back in 2001, we brought our own machines across the border from Ontario down to Paducah, and everybody's wheeling their totes with their machines in there. It was mass chaos. And I think shortly after that was when they said, nope, classroom sponsored sewing machines allowed only. So
Yes. I know people that fly with their sewing machines as carry-on, though.
Yeah, passport under the seat.
Under the seat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you get on those little tiny planes out of Burlington, Vermont, right, Lynn?
Right. And then they check it and they give it back to you. Oh,
Yeah, as long as you don't have to pay for a seat for your machine, I guess.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Oh,
That's right.
oh.
So curious to know, Carla, along with selling fabric, you sell machines. Is that the crux, or do you have long arming? You've got class.
Oh, my business is, we've kind of evolved with the times since 2006. So we sell 4 major brands of sewing machines: Pfaff, Viking, Husqvarna Viking, Janome, and Handy Quilter. So we do not do long arming in our shop, but you can rent our long arms or the sit down to come in and quilt your own. And it's a great way for people to get interested in long arming and to say they completed their own quilt 100%. Sometimes people don't like to give them off to a quilt long armor because they want to say they did it all. Right. So, and we usually offer people, if they're really interested in purchasing one, that they can bring in a donation quilt and quilt it for free with us, and we'll show them how to use the machines. And then they have a donation quilt done. They've used it, and it's a lot of fun. But you can rent it as well. With the sewing machine sales, we back up everybody with owners classes, which are free when you purchase a machine from us. And my owners classes, I've been teaching for 20 years, and now Beth is assisting, my store manager. And we give you so much information. And I always have people, over the years, I could tell you so many stories. And I remember one lady saying, "Oh, honey, I've been alive longer than you've been sewing. You can't teach me anything I don't know." And I said, "Okay." And I thought to myself, challenge accepted, right? And so at the end of the class, she says, "Wow, I didn't know how much I didn't know." Right. And she was like, astonished. And even my own experience learning to sew from the time I was about 8 when I joined 4-H, I knew what my grandma knew to teach me, and I knew what my leaders knew to teach me. It wasn't until I became a sewing machine dealer and went off to dealer training where they started explaining all these accessories and all these different feet that could make things easier for you. And I was like, wow, wish somebody had told me that before. I'm not a manual reader. I'm a sit down and figure it out myself. And, if you don't know, you don't know. So that's why I feel so strongly about teaching those owners classes to people who purchase machines from us so that you know how to go home. And I always tell them, if you don't want to hem everybody's pants, tell them you don't know how, or your machine can't do it. They don't know. It takes away from our creative time to have to bother with sewing.
We're going to know now.
Yeah,
in the bag.
We teach people, but we don't. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Lynn and I are just true lovers of education, no matter what it is. Right. And I'm sure Lynn comes across this in some of her classes where everybody brings their own machines, where these machines nowadays are pretty darn technical. And so, you've decided you're going to upgrade. You want all the bells and whistles till you get it home, and you're scared to press the buttons, or you don't know what buttons to press, or nobody's told you that the little arrows up and down, is the up and down needle button, and it's universal. Right. There's just so much that it does for, a lot of them get intimidating.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And it's fun when we bring in kids, because we love to teach kids classes. We've got a couple of kids camps this summer. They're not afraid. Yeah. So they sit down and they figure it out. And every week I have somebody come in and tell me, "Oh, my granddaughter's 4 and she sat down and she's like doing this." And she said, "I didn't know I could do that with my machine." It's just, I don't know, intuitive for them. And I think that the biggest, and you nailed it, Carla, by saying, you don't know what button to push and you're kind of like afraid to touch it. don't be afraid. If it's not going to work, it's not going to do anything, right? Don't drop it down the stairs or throw it out the window. But there's a lot of help available. And that's why dealers like me and across the country and across the world, find that dealer that you can work with and connect with that will help you learn your machine. There's so much to it. There's so much to them, and so many techniques, right? I mean, you ladies know that. So
Yeah.
Well, and teaching in a shop like yours is always fun because, you may be doing, even though we're quilting and you're generally doing straight stitch, 1/4 inch, there's always something with that machine that just can make their life easier that they didn't know. So, shops like yours are amazing.
Yeah, we also have certified technicians. So one, our main technician is my brother-in-law who works here and has, off and on in the beginning and then pretty steady for, I don't even know, 15 years maybe. And so he's certified with the brands and we do the repairs here in the shop. So when you bring your machine here, it's not going to be sent off to someplace in the Midwest. We take care of it for you. And he does make same day appointments. He's booking actually into June now. So anybody out there that wants although it's almost May. So, and then my husband's also a tech, but works full-time elsewhere. But he does the long arm installations and does a lot of the long arm stuff. And so he does that on the side in addition to his job, his full-time job. So, we have the service department. So there is the little thing called vacuums that we do sell. And they are, an evil necessity. But we also service those and sell the vacuum bags and repair them, and then we have, 1,500 bolts of fabric, all the accessories for your machines, all the notions you need. If I don't have something you're looking for, please ask us. We're happy to look and see if we can get it for you. I might not be able to get it to you as fast as Amazon, but you're supporting on a business locally and local people. We do sell online, although we don't have many followers. I need to be more like you ladies and have a YouTube channel. Actually, we have a YouTube channel, but we're just getting started with posting things on it. So we have that, and then our classes. So there's lots of things happening here all the time, but I have a fantastic team that helps pull it all together. I certainly couldn't do it alone.
Yeah.
We need a team, Lynn.
I need a team. I need some people.
Oh, hang on. That was me.
Sorry.
When I was by myself in the beginning, it was me and the previous owner working as a technician, and I was alone all day. I worked.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I need a couple of people. I'm feeling like I really need a couple of people right now.
You need an administrative assistant, Lynn, if nothing else.
Yeah, I do. Somebody who's going to do all of the other stuff behind the scenes.
Right behind the scenes, yeah.
Yeah, because it takes. People don't understand. Even with the traveling show, I don't have a brick and mortar, but I do travel quite a bit. And there's commodities involved with that, as well as all of the teaching part. And and there's a lot to that. There's the contracts and the, making sure the things get ordered as you're, selling out in one event and you're getting, 2 weeks later, you got to be somewhere else. So it's the same game. It's a traveling game.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. And then there's the whole social media thing, which it's really hard to keep up with. It's just really hard to keep up with. And I tell this to people in my class, I would prefer to spend my time developing a new technique to bring it to the classroom and spending time with you in the classroom. I'm not going to, I'll do a ton of email marketing, and I'm not going to flood your email box with stuff. I'm only going to do a few posts that make sense to do, because I'm I'm passionate about quilting, not about social media.
Right.
We do it because it is our avenue of communication to the world. But if push comes to shove, I'm going to meet a real-time deadline versus getting a post up, because that's more important to me.
I will tell you, it's been about a year since I have somebody who's doing my social media and emails, and all she does is that. And I shouldn't say all she does. She works about 24 to 36 hours a week, depending on the time of year, because she has 2 young kids. But she does all of that posting and emails and schedules all my classes and works with the teachers and making sure we have all the products. And so our classes, the types of classes, the number of classes have probably close to doubled from last year. And our social media, I mean, just to give a shout out to Catherine, she's doing a fantastic job. And for those that do follow us, they're like, oh, I love your post. I love your live. You know, it's made a difference. But that's a lot of hours that, as a small business owner, you just don't have time to do that on top of everything else.
Lynn and I just came off the cruise, and you know, everybody said send pictures, and I said, yeah, we'll post on Facebook. Did you post it all on? I think you did one post, and I shared
one post. But you know, I arrived home at 1:30 Saturday morning, and I was on a 5 a.m. flight out of Burlington on Monday morning, headed to Paducah. So it's like I haven't even like unpacked that stuff yet. I just put that stuff in the studio, and it's sitting in a pile. So and so I wanted to just say hi to Megan. Megan joined us, Megan Harris. She's from Pennsylvania. Actually, I think she lives in Maryland. Honestly, I think she lives in Maryland. But I'm gonna see you, Megan, in a couple of weeks. I'll be in Gettysburg for the MAQ seminar. So thanks for joining us, Megan. So let's talk about maybe a little bit on how you see the quilting industry has changed. You know, we can just talk about maybe post-COVID, you know, how's post-COVID and what are people trending to want now, and, you know, and how did you shift, you know, during the post-COVID time? Yeah.
Well, even I think COVID was a good thing for our industry. If there's anything good about COVID, it was good for us. And I know the bicycle industry and the boating industry. But for us, I think it brought a lot of people together who wanted to help the general mankind, and with sewing masks or whatever. And, you know, it was kind of a funny story how, you know, we were supposed to be shut down for 6 weeks, and I had all these plans on projects I was going to sew, because that's the biggest misnomer. People think if you own a shop, you get to sit and sew all day. I'm still waiting for that to happen. My manager came back to work after 2 weeks. My son was working at a job where they just said, you know, go home. And my daughter-in-law was working for me at the time. And so after 2 weeks, those 3 people came in. We answered the phone constantly. And I felt like a drug dealer out the back door handing everybody their packages. You know, they didn't come in, everybody wore masks, but our store was like a wreck because we were on the phone and selling all kinds of fabric and machines because people couldn't, you know, use their machines. And so it was great. And so since then, you know, it was really great. I think it brought a lot of people more back into sewing.
Yeah.
You know, quilting is very cyclical, as we all know. And as we study the history of quilting, which for those of you who don't know me, I also have a great appreciation for historic textiles and quilts, and am hoping to become a certified AQS, is it AQS, APQS, certified quilt appraiser. So I am working towards that. But you know, we've had some trends where we have a lot of younger people interested. And then we're seeing, much to a lot of our surprises, even the older generation are buying modern fabrics. They're tired of looking at a lot of the older fabrics, at least in my area. And I do think that that changes across the country on what people buy where. But we are seeing, and we're seeing a trend now. People really want clothing. They want to make some clothes.
Yeah.
We have a lot of people, because the clothes we buy today, you know, let's face it, they're not quality made. If you want something to fit you and fit you right, then you need to, or not be see-through. So we do have garment. I've been shopping for my vacation, and I was like, are you kidding me? You can see right through these linen pants. If I only had more time, I could make some. Yeah, so we're seeing more garment fabric in the shop now, and just people being creative. I hate to say it, I don't believe it's a dying art. I think it's an evolving art.
Right.
We do see more art quilts, and that's one of my passions. Lynn knows, I'm still working on my lion, Lynn.
Nice. I'm waiting for the lion to be done.
Yeah, maybe by the Vermont Quilt Show. But I'm working on that. I design quilt patterns too. I just like to be a little different. So I see good things for quilting and sewing in the future. I really do. I do.
So is the unlimited access to fabric the best benefit from being a shop owner, or what kind of is your sweet spot? What do you think?
Reflecting on 20 years, it's been amazing to watch the growth of my customers. It's been really amazing. So one of my now good friends who came to us right after I bought the shop was getting ready to retire from teaching, was just starting to quilt. And she has one at Paducah. She has one at Road to California. I believe she also pinned at Houston. So she's a phenomenal quilter. So from piecing to she does everything on her stationary machine. She's just amazing. The friendships, because of our QC club that we have once a month, people from all over the state and even from New York drive up to us or down to us because we're kind of central in the state. And they meet and, they go to lunch or they go shopping or whatever. So we have, I like the comment about turtles end up in the wrong place. I've seen that. Not turtles.
There's a story. There's always a story.
We apologize for sort of breaking up on you.
Yeah. So I just like the friendships and people say to me, how do you remember everybody's machine? How do you remember? Well, if I sold it to you, chances are I remember that. And then I taught you the owner's class and you come back, I remember that because we've developed a rapport, right? So, and it is amazing. It's like remembering so-and-so's kids' names, right? So
it's all part of the industry or how we work.
Yes.
To remember certain things.
Yes. Yeah. And it's about building that community, right? We're really working hard about building community. We've got some upcoming, I forget what they're calling them now, but open sew days where you can come in and sew and ask questions and get help. We've got that going on, and we've done pillowcases for our local hospital's infusion unit, which actually got all those nurses interested. So then we taught a class to the nurses on how to make pillowcases. So introduced a few to sewing there. So, it's just fun. We work with the kids and 4-H groups and all sorts of things.
I'm a big component to get out of your sewing room. COVID, speaking of COVID, everybody did online stuff and there's tons of stuff online. And Lynn and I have chatted about this probably in nauseam over the last several years. And I was just asked again if I do online classes, and no, I don't. I don't like the technology. I get extremely stressed. I'm better off in person, because in person you can, make up a word or flub something and still recover without it feeling like you're on national television or something. And I do believe that quilting can be a very lonely hobby.
Yes.
If you make it a lonely hobby. So I'm a big component of getting out of that, taking classes, learning something new, making new friends. Life can be lonely. So get out and go find a place to sew with a friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or quilt cruise.
And we do find people that take classes, not necessarily because they need to learn how to do the technique, because they could figure it out, but they do it to be social, and to do things with their friends. And I know we can bring our phone with us, but I recommend you shut them off when you come in so that nobody can bother you about whether or not something came in the mail, right? Who cares?
That's right. Yeah, just
go and sew with your friend.
Yeah,
that's right.
It is nice to just get away, and I mean, we do that. Even it's hard to kind of schedule that into our time, but we try and do that so that we can just like shut the world out and just do something for ourselves.
Right.
I used to. I didn't for a few years as this, as I transitioned from my last career to this career. I didn't spend as much time sewing for myself as I try to do now, because I think there's a balance between whatever you do for work and whatever you do for recreation and what makes you feel good in a relaxed state. And it just happens that I like what I do for work, and that's what I do to relax too. But so I've done a better job at balancing that. But balancing it from seeing the kids play soccer, the grandkids play soccer, to having your time or your time with a friend. Just take a day and say, come on over, even and just stitch together, laugh together, drink tea together. Just that socialization is really part of the quilter.
I was watching, because we all have these smart TVs, and up when I turned my TV on, Craftsy channel came. That's some free, on Samsung, and on it, I started watching it. Was this? She was a designer from England, and she did high-end couture for weddings and gowns for formal galas in England. And the person running the show is so American. Well, how long did that take you? Well, how long did that take you?
Oh, yeah.
And she finally said, it's not about the destination. It's about the journey. Yeah. And I said, we all need to slow down and enjoy the journey. Yeah. So go quilt with your friends. Find that local community.
There has been such a shift over the last several years. They came out with what I call fast food quilting, the pre-cuts, and then you sew the strips together and you make it in a weekend. And then can I make it in a weekend? And my answer always is, the only person who's gaining anything from you making it in the weekend, and I'm sorry, Carla, for saying this, is the shop owner who's selling you fabric every week for you to go make in the weekend, and getting them. I know up north here, traditional quilting is, almost, for a lot of them, they're scared of the points and scared of just the intricacy. You look at, the quilt that's behind Lynn, the quilt that's behind you, Carla, the quilt that's behind me. They're intimidating. And that's why, so it takes you a month. So it takes you, your grandparent, even your mother did not make a quilt in a weekend. It was a work in progress over a period of time. So slow stitching, and then step back and go, oh my God, I actually made that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And, there is the place, as the shop owner, there is the place for those pre-cuts. You have a baby shower to go to 2 weeks from now. You sew it up, quick 9 patch, it's done.
But your long armor's not going to be available to quilt it, so it'll have to go quilted.
But we show you, Carla, how to do it on your domestic machine.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that so true. But I think we all need to have that journey of working on something that's special and near to your heart that you only complete one a year or two a year. We're doing this series of classes of by hand. A throwback to our ancestors who had to do it all by hand, right? And so
Right.
she's been teaching hand applique, hand piecing, hand quilting, and it takes her years sometimes to finish
Right.
something, but she doesn't work on just one at a time.
Right.
She has different projects for different times, but yeah, we need to enjoy it.
Yeah. So, what's ahead? What's coming up at the shop here in the next few months or the rest of the year? What's new on the horizon for you guys there?
We have so much going on. Catherine just has our schedule booked through the end of the year. We have room for some more things. We do have kids camps coming up this summer, more dyeing classes, more garment classes, bag classes, quilting classes. Lynn's doing a block of the month that starts really soon. Isn't it beautiful, everybody? We have one spot left. We have room for one more. So we will be participating in the Vermont Quilt Show, which is new this year, which I think a lot of people think it's VQF, the Vermont Quilt Festival. It is not, but we are sponsoring a classroom of machines there as well. And we will be there representing all 4 brands that we sell. We will participate in the All New England Chop Hop. Of course, our 20th completion of 20 years in business. And for those of you who do follow me on the shop, and part of our email list, I did announce a few weeks ago that I'm looking for somebody to fill my shoes. That 20 years, I'm ready to go on. I'm actually between the antique quilts, and I'm actually taking a class right now on pattern design. Not how to design quilts, because I already do that, but fabric design and the whole steps of what you need to do and how to do it to get it to the designers. I've always loved art, so I'm doing a lot of art right now and learning how to approach fabric companies who might want to buy my designs that then we can all turn into fabrics for my quilt patterns. So there's lots of room for growth in this business, especially with online selling, because I think there is a way to do it. It's just so much fun, but we are looking for someone. And I do have a handful of people who are interested. So that's exciting. I can't wait to talk with them more. So I'll be doing that when I get back from vacation.
Excellent.
I leave tomorrow morning.
I'll be over there in a couple of weeks to start the block of the month program, and I'm excited about that. And then I got a couple of UFO classes, finishing classes scheduled. I don't know. Catherine's got my schedule.
I know.
She's got me scheduled. Catherine is wonderful.
Your people can call Carla's people.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can go on our website, which is middleburysew-and-vac.com, and you can find all our classes there. So the ones that are ready to be registered, full gamut of classes, and so I'm looking forward to someday, to take a few more classes. I do take a few classes. I'm considering taking one at the Vermont Quilt Show because I am not participating as a teacher. I decided that I wanted to attend the show. Wow.
I know. It's funny because I was just at Paducah, and when you teach, you really don't get to attend the show. You don't get to see all the quilts. You don't get to buy the things. I went to go buy the show T-shirt, and I taught from the opening of the show, and I had an evening event every night. So I had one morning where I didn't teach at 8:00, and that by the time I got to the show floor, all the T-shirts, well, in my size, large, were gone that I wanted to buy. So I wanted a long sleeve and a short sleeve. So I have to wait for them to reprint I won't have a Paducah t-shirt because they're gone, and they won't reprint those, but there was a couple other t-shirts that are really, really nice designs, and I'll just wait for the reprint and get them from Grand Rapids or Columbus in the next couple shows. But yeah, you don't really get to see the show, and I needed to connect with a couple of people, and it was literally 2:00 on Saturday afternoon, 2 hours before the show closed, that I actually got out to connect with these people. But that is, that's part of the game. So I'm looking forward to going to the Vermont Quilt Show, check it all out, see a lot of the people I haven't seen in a long time because I've been out and about out of the state of Vermont a lot. So super excited about that.
Vendors don't get to see the show either, except we can walk the floor if we get there before it opens, right? For really quick, because we're busy taking care of people that are coming in asking us questions and in the classroom. But I'm actually hoping to steal the way for a few hours to work with my friend Diane Annis, who is a quilt appraiser, who will be appraising at the show. So I'm hoping to go in observe her for a few hours, which is what I need to do for my training. So we're hoping to figure out that in the schedule. So, but we're excited for this show. All Vermont quilts.
Okay. Well,
I have a question.
Question.
Okay. So if you could only quilt with one color for the rest of your life, what color would it be?
Oh, yeah.
I think that depends on my day.
Oh, no.
Not funny, but I design mostly 2-color quilts, and but I would have to say black. Not that I put that in my 2-color quilts, but I feel like black is always a necessity, not necessity, but needs to be used more often. It is our #1 best-selling solid color, believe it or not. We sell way more black than any other solid color. We just ran that the numbers the other day. I think it outsells white 2-to-1.
Wow.
If you can believe that. Isn't that interesting?
That is
I like black. But red and white's always been a favorite. Turquoises. I love turquoise. Depends on the day. But I will always put a little bit of black in the quilt if I can.
So next week will be a turquoise week for you while you're sitting in the Caribbean.
That's right. That's why I like turquoise. Yeah, because I think of the Caribbean waters where it's nice and turquoise and blue.
Those waters and the different blues you see while you're in the Caribbean are just amazing.
Yeah, it really is.
Lynn and I would wake up every morning and open the shade in our veranda off of our room and drink our coffee and look at the blue.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I think that's pretty much wrapping this up. Carla, thanks so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
And remember, like the Middlebury Sewing Back Row, the Quilters Corner on Facebook, and go to their website, check out their classes. There's lots of good stuff. Oh, there's more.
Before we go, Kathy Albright. Hello, Kathy. I've been trying to get a hold of you about a pattern, so we'll chat. Kathy wants to know, do you have to be present for the block of the month?
Yeah, so right now, here's the skinny with this block of the month of mine. It was released in December, featuring the fabric line that is now hitting the shops in the spring. And I have given exclusive rights for shop owners to purchase this wholesale so they can run their programs. I am not teaching it virtually, and I am not selling it retail because I want them to have a year to run their programs. I want them to get their fabric in. I want to get them to do their 6-month programs and have that window for that relationship. And then I might do a virtual. I really don't want to go back virtually. I just love being with people. So I'm not really sure exactly how I'm going to do that. It also currently is not available as a PDF. None of my patterns are at this point. I've resisted doing that, and I'm not really sure why, but I think that one of my worries with that is that I put a lot of time and effort into graphics. And if you get a PDF and you have a crappy printer, then you're not going to be able to see the things that I work so hard to make clear. Anyway, So that's the skinny on the over and under, which is behind me, block of the month. And
so Lynn, the question, if she wants to take my last spot, can she participate but not be here for the classes?
She can absolutely do that. She can absolutely do. So Kathy, at Middlebury, they're doing a program where the program is you buy the kit and everything. You get everything with this.
Right.
So certainly, Kathy, if you're interested, talk to the shop. There is that one spot left, and it's hopefully going to go here the next week, especially once the bolts of fabric come into the shop.
Yes.
When you see the fabric, it strikes a fancy. It really is beautiful.
Yeah.
So
I think we're expecting them tomorrow or the next day. So
yeah, that's
we'll be cutting the kit soon.
Excellent. Yeah, I know. I owe Catherine something in the morning. I was supposed to get it to her this afternoon, but it just takes so much longer to like do the wrap up paperwork for these events that I do that I want to make sure that what I give her is as accurate as possible. So one more day. And I knew she said, well, I think the fabric's coming in a few days. So I said, okay, so I have a day of grace because you're not going to need the information from me until you have the fabric and you're starting to cut it. So it's all good. Yeah. So contact the shop. And also, if there's something you're interested in, they tailor their class schedule to what the public wants. You know, they'll bring in garment, they'll bring in bags, they'll bring in beginner classes.
That has got to be the hardest thing, you know, because Lynn and I both teach for various shops and stuff, and the shops are always like, so, you know, and you'll go, so what do you got something I don't know what's going to go. And the hardest thing for a teacher is to take the time to develop the class, to do the sample and post it, and nobody signs up.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And so yeah, you want to.
And the hardest thing for a shop is to try to guess what everybody wants to learn, and then ask you as a teacher to teach it or develop a program. Yeah. And so we love the feedback from people. What do you want to know? What do you want to learn? And we do bring in educators from all of our main brands a couple times a year. And we also want to know what people want to know from them, right? Because they're touching these machines every day across the country. So let us know. Yeah. So, but I do see Kathy wants to know about the show. It is in Burlington, Vermont on the 18th, 19th, and 20th of June, which is Father's Day weekend, but it ends on Saturday. So it doesn't conflict with Father's Day. Right. And it's at I always get it wrong. It's at the Sheraton. It used to be the Sheraton. I think it's the Doubletree. Yeah. It's the Doubletree in Burlington, Vermont. So, so they're fun.
Yeah.
Yes, Megan, they are.
Kathy, I know you're going to be in Vermont. Kathy lives in South Carolina during the winter, and she was on our cruise, and she'll be in Vermont during June. So
good. Come see us at the show.
Yeah.
Be fun.
Okay. So anything else? Anybody else got any questions for Carla? All right. Well, that was great, Carla. I think that I love the Quilters Corner. I go over two mountain ridges to go there and teach, and every time I go there, I buy fabric. I teach, and I just can't get out of it without buying a fabric or a foot for my machine, or I decided I got to teach myself how to do something new, and I read about it, and I said, I need this, and so I bought the coolest designer dryer balls there, wool dryer balls there. I'm just gonna say. To people
environmentally friendly,
right? And they were awesome. So check those out too.
Well, and Lynn, thank you for being a teacher in our shop, and thank you for inviting me on today. We love having Lynn come to the shop, and we love having new people come visit us. So yeah, thank you very much. I've got a great team, so if I'm not here, don't be. I've got 10 people that work here, so. Yeah. They're all fantastic. So come and see us. We'd love to have you.
And
Okay.
always, as we've said, support that local quilt shop.
That's
because,
right.
Thank you.
you know,
Yes.
it's the heart and soul and the knowledge base for what we do.
Right.
And you're not going to get the service that you get in a local quilt shop and the knowledge from a large department store. So,
Right.
yeah.
It's a community.
And Carla, you know, I have to agree. I taught classes briefly online during COVID. It is so hard to teach a class online because sometimes it's just the way they're holding the fabric, right? And you just want to be there and be there in person. And, you know, I don't think AI is going to take over this industry.
No.
They can't fix your machine to start with. I don't care how many videos you watch. There's always a wannabe YouTube star that doesn't know what they're doing. So
I always say that I may be talking to Jane in the aisleway, and we might be talking, and over her shoulder, I'm glancing down at Mary and realizing that Mary has maybe her fabric with right sides up together, you know, and go, just a minute, you know, and you run over and you go, stop, you know, let's flip this around. You're about to make a mistake, and you can't catch those online, and you don't build that personal relationship so that after class, and I'm sure Lynn does, you'll get that odd phone call where it's like, I'm so lost, or help me, what did I do wrong, or whatever. And there's that personal relationship, because in your mind, you're like, yeah, I remember I sat beside you. We did it once, but I didn't feel like you were secure. So yeah, in person.
We see it all the time. People come in with unfinished stuff and they're lost and they tried it online. I mean, so many things with machines as well. They buy machines online and then they have no clue how to use them. So, yeah. So thank you for supporting us. Thank you both very much.
Yes, you're welcome. You know, and you supporting me, having me as a teacher there when I'm home here and not toting a suitcase across the country somewhere.
If I were
nice
closer,
to be able to go home at night, sleep in my own bed after teaching.
If I were closer, I'd jump on over.
Okay. Right. Well, if you come to Vermont, you let us know.
I am so waiting for molecular transport. You have no idea.
We actually had a vendor from Ontario that came to us last summer and did a presentation on Kantha fabric and brought jackets made from vintage Kantha fabric. And it was so well received and she had such a great time. She's hoping to come back. So we're hoping for the fall we can arrange something. So
nice.
Yeah. Nice. So great.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Well, thank you again.
You're welcome. Thank you. I'm going to go home and pack.
Okay. You have a wonderful vacation.
Thank you.
In a couple weeks.
Safe travels and wear that sunscreen.
All right. I just went and bought it before this.
All right. Bye, Carla.
Thank you, ladies.
Wow.
Oh, well, that's always,
that was wonderful.
You know, shop owners are just such a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah.
They're what got us going.
Right. Exactly. You know, so a couple of things. Yes, Megan, planning classes is like playing craps. I agree. You know, you never know. It's speculation as to what will go in the market. And, you know, most of us like to plan classes, things that we love to do, you know, and so you always wonder if other people love the piecing techniques that we love, you know, or, you know, whatever it is we're trying to teach, bindings, you know, just handwork.
If I can be bold enough to say, there is so much virtually online, but not all of it is the easy way. Not all of it is, I don't want to say the right way, but just there's so much out there that it's, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the thing, you know, the thing about the virtual world is there is, in person or virtually, you know, probably 3 to 5 ways to skin the cat you're trying to make, you know, the technique you're doing. But the thing about being in person is you can see that the person has to pin a certain way because that's how their hands work.
Yeah.
You can't, there's no way. Yeah,
Yeah.
that you can tell that, you can see that, and you can advise about that, because you can do a great video, provide great guidance and technique and visuals for accomplishing a task. But if the person is physically limited and cannot do it that way, then there's no solution for them. Whereas if you're there in person, you can come up and you can alter what you're doing to fit the situation. And so that's the other thing that makes a good teacher or instructor, is that, yeah, I might tell you that this is the way I do it. I show you, I recommend this, but it isn't the only way. And if you have figured out how to do a way that is very comfortable for you and very successful for you, I'm going to have you do it your way in my class, because I want you to be successful. I don't want you just to have to do everything my way.
That point, Lynn, was so brought to light when you and I did the cruise. And I think for the people that were present, we had a ball, but the advantage was, because I do things differently, just because of, I don't know, whatever reason, I always say my brain works like this and Lynn's brain works like that. And neither one is right or wrong. So they were able to see in certain situations, how my thought process went and how Lynn's, and they were able to pick, I'm talking about spinning that center seam on a 4-patch.
That's right.
Lynn showed her way, I showed mine, and they were able to pick and choose what they grasped, understood, or, we're happy to proceed forward. So, there's just so much.
That is the advantage. Not very often do you actually get to take a class or a longer duration, a retreat type setting, where you have two instructors that came through a quilting journey that was far different. And that's why we do things differently.
Differently but the same.
Genetics are different. Yeah, different but the same. So that was the unusual situation we had on the cruise. We had 20 quilters and two instructors, and they got the best of both worlds for those 3.5 days that we were together, and the evenings. So let's talk a little bit about the trip. So it was a wonderful trip. It started off in Fort Lauderdale, and we went out 11 nights into the Caribbean on that big boat right there, the Celebrity Ascent. And it was a mix of Canadian quilters and U.S. citizen quilters. Here's a picture of the classroom. And we had full windows on one side, which made the room really light during the day. It was nice. You could watch the waves and daydream and then stitch. And there was no rush or hustle. There's the quilt and some of the step outs on the big wall in the front of the classroom. So you could see us do it. You could see us make units. You could see us, you could see it in the fabrics you were to make it in. And then you also had the instructions in front of you. So
it was really fun. Just even laying that room out, somebody asked if I got seasick. It took a day to get used to, the gentle movement, but nothing that was. There's our classroom mascot.
Yeah, one of our quilters. Thank you, Katrina. She made us a classroom mascot, the turtle. So the turtle comment from Kathy.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So Carla and I actually Carla coordinated our fashion. She's the fashion coordinator for the trip. So we opened up our cruise quilting with identical outfits.
I tried to find that picture, but I think I was just so in awe that it might have disappeared. But short synopsis was, we had on a t-shirt that had beautiful turtles going down the front of the t-shirt, and we had matching pants that had big turtles on them. And I didn't pay attention. I put mine on when I had bought the outfits and mailed Lynn hers, and put them on and pulled my t-shirt on and looked in the mirror and went, oh, this all looks cool. And, you know, life went on. And then just before I was packing, I thought, well, I better try the pants on again to make sure they still fit, as we all do. And I put the pants on, and I had a shorter t-shirt that showed, you know, mid-waist down, only to realize that I had two turtles meeting at that obscure spot. Yes, pointing.
Yeah.
And so we didn't know that Lynn's were going out, mine were going in. So I told Lynn, I said, well, we'll wear them anyway, because our t-shirts are long enough that you could walk around the boat without having everybody look at that lady's
Your turtles.
The turtles. And it was the icebreaker, because, you know, you could tell from our lives that we're not very, very serious a lot of the times. And it was the icebreaker of, hi, everybody, I'm Carla. And, you know, hi, I'm Lynn. And then we lifted up our t-shirts and showed our turtles.
Oh,
So that was the funny of the
right.
turtle.
So our turtle mascot made it even better. We had no idea Katrina was going to bring a turtle mascot for us to have in the classroom while we were stitching. So here's another outfit that we had. We had matching sort of fun, sort of modern. These were like leopard prints, but then in the bottom of them, they had all kinds of fun colors and big leaves. And yeah, so it was like jungle kind of.
I love mine. I can't
Yeah,
wait.
I love mine too. It was all to
warmer
do not
weather.
to bring it to AQS. I was going to bring it to AQS and wear it, but I said, no, I'm not going to do that. So, but yeah, so we had a few outfits. Oh, and then of course, every quilter needs to have snacks. You know, and you've heard us talk about our snack cans before, these things, right? Well, there we are. It's pajama night, and we're eating our cheesies with our snack cans. And
Yeah.
that's the cruise. That was the cruise coordinator, Michelle, from Travel Adventures by Michelle. So we were sitting up front eating cheesies.
She really didn't know what the hands were for. She thought maybe for picking up fabric or something. So we sort of put her on the spot and gave her a lesson on how to actually eat cheesies in the classroom. So.
Right. Yeah. So every sewing bag of mine has a pair of these so that I can have my snack and not get my hands dirty at all. No snack residue on my hands while I sew, but I can have a bowl of snacks.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so we had a ton of fun on this cruise, and it was just, I don't know. I'm still unpacking and trying to get my photos together. And so, yes, we will, for all those that joined me on the cruise, us on the cruise, I will get some pictures posted up on our private Facebook group as soon as I get settled in a little bit. And so Kathy made some comment. So yeah, so we actually provided a kit that was completely cut. The only cutting you had to do was to do the curved piecing cutting and then the trim down. So you came into class and you could immediately start sewing and making your units, and you know, within the first day you were ready to put blocks together. So we wanted to have a quilting vacation for everybody, and for everybody to be, you know, sort of stress-free as they work on this quilt.
We had one student completely finish the quilt, and several others had a quarter of it done, which was the goal for them to have made every unit, every block,
right,
at least, yeah, to get the quarter, because it was
yeah, we made the quilt was a quadrant quilt. So once you made one quarter, you just had to duplicate that 3 more times. Many people had more blocks done, but we wanted them to be able to get that, because that's how the assembly would go together, is you would build one quarter and then put the 4 quarters together. So it was a pretty successful mission. And yeah, I just had a ton of fun with it. So I really have only one thing to say about AQS Paducah Quilt Week, and that is, if you have never gone, please try and get that on your bucket list and get that checked off. Because I got to tell you, every person in that county, I swear, does something to pull this off. You know, there's kids, the junior high band plays one afternoon. You know, there's a parade. The band comes and opens up the ceremony. There's
and there's
hundreds
silks on all of the streets in front of all of the houses and hanging in the mall.
You know, and they shut the streets off, and the volunteer senior organization, they all dress in red coats. There must be, at any one time when the festival is actually open, the show is open, there's got to be 150 of these guys on the premises. Every door is opened up by somebody in a red coat. There is somebody that answers every question, you know, helps with the elevator, points you to this way, that way. There's just a ton of very friendly Southern Kentucky people who are so happy and so willing to be, you know, helpful. It's just really amazing to me as to how wonderful that was, you know, the food. And by far my favorite thing, and I heard about this before I even went, was the Boy Scout troop is famous for their strawberry shortcake ice cream and whipped cream. And literally, I bought the bowl that was called the Works, $10. I only had one day where I was actually got a lunchtime, and I went out to their truck, because at Quilt Week they put all the food trucks outside, so most of the food is outside under big tents. And I went and I got that, and I got to tell you, it was amazing. So, you know, probably the best $10 I've spent in a long time on that strawberry shortcake.
Glad I bought you that no-wasted dress.
Yeah. So we're now on salads and chicken breast. We're just eating plain chicken and salads and cucumbers. No, but yeah, so we're back home to a regular diet. But, you know, but the strawberry shortcake, I heard that it was famous and it was really good. Yep. So if you ever go there, you got to have the Boy Scout strawberry shortcake. So yeah.
I have something to show you. Part of our cruise, we got to go to Carabel Boutiques.
Oh yeah.
And we were able to dye a piece of fabric ourselves. And this is mine. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, you got to put it back with, very nice. Yeah, so mine is also blue. However, since I didn't really get home until 48 hours ago, today was my drying day, because you got to dry this with the wax on it. And then you got to wash it in this boiling water.
For 30 minutes.
A couple days behind. Yeah, to get all the wax out. So I'm anxious tomorrow. That's on my docket to do, is to get the wax out of the fabric and then get it to dry out and see how mine came out. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. So Kathy, you did great with the quilt. She goes, and then there was me. So, but we had a ton of fun. There was a lot of fun things on the boat, a lot of good excursions. And, you know, half vacation, half quilting. What more would you want? So,
you're home for a while. I'm off tomorrow, transatlantic, to go to the UK to see the daughter and the grandkids and the family. It's turning out, well, I don't know. It depends on what you classify as a vacation, right? I will not be sitting in the sun. We just found out that our daughter's going to she just tore her ACL, so she'll be needing some mummy love. So yeah, got my favorite recipes all loaded on my phone. But in the interim, there is a quilt show in the little village not too far from her. So she's all excited. She sent me the link and she's going, Mom, we're going to a quilt show. And I'm like, okay, let's go. So I get to go to a quilt show in England while I'm there. And I'm sure there'll be some shopping. The home of some shopping, the home of William Morris and Liberty Fabrics. I very close to like Tilda.
Right.
So that Yeah, the color, it reads a color, but it's a heavy print. It's just,
Right.
don't know what it is. Sometimes things talk to you, and that one, yeah. I've got lots of room in my suitcase because I'm bringing her some casserole dishes, and there's other things that's taking up a tremendous amount of space and weight in our suitcases. So I'll have room.
Excellent.
I will have room.
All right. So if you like this episode, hit the like button, subscribe. That way you'll always get notifications as to when we go live. And follow both me, Lynn Wheatley Quilter, on Facebook and Instagram some. Carla is Quilting by the River. And
I am quiltingbytheriver.ca.
Right. .ca.
Yes, don't forget the .ca.
.ca.
.com brings you to somebody else. So
right.
quiltingbytheriver.ca.
Right.
Before we go, I just want everybody to know that I'm thinking about everybody as the waters have risen here in Northern Ontario, especially along the rivers, Manitoulin, Espanola area, Nipissing, French River, the gamut, that whole section. The river has risen. We're now down a little bit, but it rained all day today, and the north is just starting to melt. So they're expecting the river to rise some more. And again, so just feeling and prayers to everybody who are in the water.
Right. So our friends in Ontario, we pray that the waters will rise slowly, that you can handle it, and that they will recede slowly without much damage. It's become increasingly here in Vermont at this time of year that, April and May until about Memorial Day is a heightened fire danger. We are in a red alert right now in the state of Vermont, and we have active wildfires. Then I don't remember 10 years ago this happening as much as it's happening now. I came home I got off the airplane and drove down the interstate, and I saw a large patch of the side of the interstate burnt. And I'm like, so for us here, be careful. Don't burn your twigs and stuff this time of year. Pile them up, wait till it rains, wait till we're done with this and the lush green is growing again, and then we can take care of it. I know it's nice to get it done, but let's not cause another problem. So, okay. Well, so our next episode will be May 28th at 7 p.m. when Carla returns back.
Thursday.
It's a Thursday. We're popping over to a Thursday because she's coming in on a Tuesday. She's got to at least get her bags in the door before she's got to go live. So we're going to give her a day to get the bags in the door and unpacked maybe. Get a little nap. And then we're going to go live Thursday night on the 28th. So we will see you then. And got something you want us to chat about? Got somebody you want us to interview? Drop us a comment. Let us know.
You got something new that you think is absolutely amazing and you want to share it with everybody, or you don't quite know what it is, or perhaps maybe you're spring cleaning that sewing room and you found that gadget that you bought and now you don't even know what it's for.
That's right.
So, yes, I have some organizing this summer to do in here.
Because anxiously waiting for those items.
Anxiously waiting for the fabric to arrive for my Killarney quilt. There still are spaces for quilting in Killarney with me this coming November. I know that November feels like a long way off, but the cutoff date for registration is September, mid-September. So if you're thinking about it, stop thinking, start doing. Yes, because I would just love to have you along. There's two projects, one big one, one small one. They're both the same. It's all about the learning and not the size of the project. So
that's right. Yeah.
Yes. And did you see? I hung my Alaska up in the hallway. I think it's pretty cool. It's on my out and about teachers list now. So if you're a guild member or have a group, check out both Lynn's and my website and go into teaching and check out the class.
I actually think that maybe Alaska is scheduled at the Quilter's Corner with Carla on my docket. Catherine and I go through the schedule probably like once every 4 months, and she books me way out where I can. And I think Alaska's on a return. I did it there once, and I think we're going to return and do it again here in the next few months. So look for that as well. It's a great quilt, lots of fun, and really, with the Wedge Star from Studio 180 and not using templates, it comes together in a snap. The intersections match, and it's just a lot of fun. All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us today. If you enjoyed the chat, like I said before, like us and follow us. And so you never miss out on all of our quilting adventures. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Liking is important. Hit
Liking
that
is important.
thumbs up button on the bottom of your screen, underneath the screen, keeps us going for another little while.
And you can always contact either one of us through our websites. I am lynnwheatley.com and Carla is quiltingbytheriver.ca. So keep creating, stay inspired, and enjoy your quilting journey.
It's springtime. Get outside.
That's right. Enjoy those spring colors. I love the greens.
Oh, my daffodils are starting to show a little bit of yellow.
Nice.
Yes, it's going to start. Color season is coming.
Yes.
Take pictures. Oh, and we get to go to the garden store pretty soon.
Yeah. There's the color.
Don't tell your husband how much annuals cost. Shh.
Right.
Shh. Our secret. All right. Well, good to have you back, Lynn. Glad to be back. Yeah. Well, I'm off, but
we come and we go.
We come and we go. I packed my EPPs for England so that if I have quiet time, I have something to do.
Right. You're not going to have quiet time.
No, I know.
Yeah. Not with the ACL. No. All right, everyone.
Good night.
Keep stitching. Good night. See you soon.